Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this recap video we're going to take a look at the NASDAQ, and I'm going to reiterate a couple things that we've talked about in previous free videos. I think they're just that important, and I know we always have a new and growing audience, so welcome to the free recap video where I go over key ideas and concepts that I hope that you can put to work, the very next day. So what we had this morning on the 1-minute chart, this is typically the time frame that I like to day trade the index futures on, is a good old-fashioned 30-minute or opening range breakdown. And so what we do is we look for the highest point and the lowest point within the first 30 minutes of the day. We have this handy dandy little breach tool that just automates the highlighting and the actual, just the alert right here. You don't need it. You can just draw a vertical line, a horizontal line across each one of those levels and follow along manually too. So you put a line across here, you put a line across here. It's the same setup. So this just makes it really easy for me to share it with you in these videos. So the idea here is once the market breaks down through that 30-minute low, the opening range 930 to 10, take out the support level, and we just go with that short. Now there's a variation of that because there's this short here, but then we have what we call the breach, which has to happen first, so step one, breach, and then the retreat. And this is just something that actually the members call this the breach and retreat. I used to call it the breach and bounce or the breach and pullback, but I kind of like that breach and retreat. So what we have is either the short that triggers on the momentum breakdown through this threshold here, or on the bounce into the wave up into this area here, which also did trigger right in here. So what we have is the opportunity to take either a short through the floor or a quick bounce to a near-term ceiling, and either way this is nothing but a short sell. So that directional bias, that overall opinion that I am looking for more downside, is really important. Now I want to mention something else, and this is something I see a lot of traders do, and it's something that I stopped doing a long time ago, and it has to do with waiting. Over the years, the S&P has increasingly become much more tech heavy, much more reliant on tech, which means that where the S&P goes is more or less going to be wherever the NASDAQ goes. So the NASDAQ comes first. I need to know what the NASDAQ is doing. Is there a setup? Is it following through? And then, and only then, will I look at the S&P for a setup. So this is really very much a second consideration. So don't look at this one first. I think a lot of traders have a tendency to go to the S&P first. It's a perfectly good market to trade, but it has to be only after you have clarity on the NAS. Now the NASDAQ was breaking out down in here. That's that breach and retreat. But notice I didn't have any of those things on the S&P. The S&P, after a whole lot of clarity from the NASDAQ, had the break right in there, which is terrific. And we had the breakdown follow through here. And notice we did not have, once we took out the 30-minute breach, we did not have a breach and retreat, which brings up the next question. Rog, which one do we wait for? I like taking both. I think there's really two setups here. One is the actual Momo breach, and the second is that breach and retreat. So I like to factor in the possibility that both will happen. We have two different setups: breach, which is the momentum trade, and retreat, which is the exhaustion trade. So I hope this is really helpful into how we trade in the morning. We do this every morning in the chat room. Give it a try, mark those highs and lows, and I will see you in the next update.